Hi guys, happy International World Water Day. I am so excited to be chatting with you guys today all about water quality in front of our beautiful mangrove tank. Mangroves are really important to us here in Florida as they provide us several ecosystem services, but the main one that we can talk about today is water quality. They actually have a wonderful ability to take out pollutants and other things that might cause things like harmful algal blooms that you may have heard of here in Florida out of our water. So they're super important. I hope you get a chance to kind of check that out behind me. The first thing I'd like to touch on is a couple of different what we call water quality parameters. So these are things that you can check with our water quality kit that you can check out today with our partners Earth Echo International. Thank you so much for providing us with these kits. The first parameter that we can talk about is temperature. Now I hope that you guys have all heard of temperature before. It's really important that we check, especially here in Florida, as our ocean waters tend to be a little bit warm. So with this kit right here, you can actually see that there's temperature right along the side right here, and it's highlighted in green, the one that we want. So it looks like we're looking at about 30 degrees Celsius today. Celsius is what scientists typically use, which is pretty normal given that our waters in Florida are pretty warm. So that's temperature for you, pretty easy one. We can move on to turbidity. This one's a little bit harder. You can kind of see a gradient here from low to high turbidity. Now we are very lucky here in Florida to have some nice crystal clear water, so we have pretty low turbidity. But it can move all the way to what we call high turbidity, meaning that that water looks a little murky, a little harder to see what's going on underneath the surface. So a way that we measure this is actually using a tool called a Secchi disc. Now I don't have a big one with me today, but I do have a picture of what one would look like. Essentially what you would do, say we were offshore in a boat and we were checking for turbidity, is we would put this Secchi disc in the water and you would have it go all the way down until you can't tell the difference between the white part of the Secchi disc and the black part of the Secchi disc. Now you can somewhat see in my cup here that there's a little Secchi disc on the bottom, and I can fully see the difference between the two. So we have very low turbidity in this water sample today, which is great. The next parameter that we can talk about is pH. Now I have a pH scale here today. If we wanted to get really complicated, it has to do with the amount of hydrogen ions that are in water. But a way that I'd like for you to think about it is the difference between lemon juice and soap. So think about the last time maybe you had something that was a little too lemony, a little too acidic, and you make that face because it's really sour. You can associate that with something that is acidic. Then if we move all the way to the middle, this is neutral. So about 7 is what we would want as a neutral pH. You could move all the way to alkaline or basic. So what I want you to think of there is like soap or shampoo. It's a big difference. Now, the way that we can test pH using our kit here, I've got a nice vial of our sample that I collected from the ocean. Open that up, and essentially what we want to do is color match. So I'm going to pour this pH tablet right in here. Make sure I get the other one. Very nice. You always want to cap it, and then to mix it, you invert it a couple of times. And all we want to do then is match the color on our sheet. So you can see this water happens to be a little bit more towards an 8 or a 9. We'll continue to keep this here in case the color kind of develops for us. So that's pH. The last one is dissolved oxygen. Now, us on land, we're breathing oxygen right out of the air, and in water, it so happens to be dissolved. You want a high amount of dissolved oxygen for fish and other animals so that they're able to breathe. If there's low amount of dissolved oxygen, it might show us that that water body is not as healthy as we would like it to be. So you always want a lot of dissolved oxygen in that water. Now, my water sample I took just a little bit ago, so I have a feeling we might not have as much dissolved oxygen as we had before. But I'm going to go ahead with this little vial right here, kind of same as the one we had before, but a little bit smaller. We're going to put in 2 tablets this time. We'll do one, do the other. We're going to follow the same protocol. Do some inversion here, wait for that tablet to dissolve, and then we'll do our color matching again. So it's looking like, just as I suspected, that this one does not have a lot of dissolved oxygen left in it, but that makes sense because we did get the water sample a little bit less than a day ago, so that oxygen might have been removed from the water since then. But we always want to think about having a lot of dissolved oxygen, especially when we have fish friends in that water, so that they can breathe nice and healthily. Now you can check out these kits with us all day on International Water Day, so I encourage you to go check those out, and we'll see you next time. Bye.